Hello, everybody. It's another episode of What Not Radio. Look, I know it's Wednesday. It's an unusual day, but we're here. We made it. Listen, a big thank you for those who are returning viewers. If you are new here, I am one of your hosts, Alistair, and I'm co-hosted by...
Beefy, your favorite shit-talking squirrel friend.
By the way, do you notice anything different on Beefy's outfit?
Yes, new squirrel. It's a sneak peek.
New squirrel.
I'm going for a whole new channel rebrand, and for reasons behind the scenes, it needed to get upgraded here. So y'all are getting a sneak peek at some of the new art for the other channel.
I like the hoodie.
Yep.
I like the rosy cheeks, and I like the closed mouth.
Got it custom for made. It's definitely an upgrade from where we're at. So I like it too. Yeah.
I love it. Again, so this is an awesome space where we talk about anything and everything. Today we have an awesome show planned for you, but like we always say, come with an open mind and be prepared to be offended. And if you're offended, perfect, then we did our job. And if you're mad, oh well. No, you have to keep an open mind, otherwise, Beefy, what happens?
You can go to a Shaw's, feel some cantaloupes, try to find which ones are the most ripe.
Yeah.
Have some fruit salad.
That's right. And grind your teeth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. No, all jokes aside, you can't please everybody. Someone's going to offend you. You have to have tough skin and expect, give people the margin of error of disagreeing with you. Simple as that, right? Anyway, my question to you all, let me just acknowledge, let me acknowledge everybody who's here. In case you're wondering, I start off the show when I don't see anybody, and I do that on purpose so I don't get distracted. So now I'm going to turn around and see everyone. Adele Mowbray, hello, how are you?
Spooky Gnome's in the chat, but where are you, Spooky? Yeah,
we're special guest today, and yeah. So just Jonesy, hello. Adele Mowbray, hello again. Alicia, hey.
Bunny. Do I know a Bunny? I'm so sorry. I'm trying to think who's Bunny. Hi, Bunny. I know Bunny. Of course I know Bunny. Yeah. Hey, Bunny.
Hi, Bunny.
Little ears. Oh, Adele likes to be offended. Acrobat, he's the homie. What's up?
Adele likes to be offended. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So one of our Beefy, do you want to introduce? I'm not sure when you want our special guest to come in, but
I think she's having some technical difficulties, so she will
come in when she can.
In, as soon as we can. She's asking me for the link again, so I will send that to her ASAP. How was your week, man?
My week has been a whirlwind of stuff. No, my week's been okay. There's, as a parent, your week are your week. It's only parents can really understand what it's like of the unpredictability of having a child and having to make do. You have a job and you have to feed the kid. There's a lot of stuff going on. So I don't want to say my week was poopy. My week was just a typical week of a parent.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, completely. How was yours?
It was good. These past month or so, I've been getting into D&D, and I had my first character death. It was a big thing. Kind of sucked. Actually, Acrobat. Yeah, D&D.
Oh,
Acrobat in the chat. He was actually a member of that same party.
Oh, interesting. Is it the card game version or the computer version?
So I also tried it in person, where there's like a map and little figures, and you roll dice. But online, it's like your chat rooms and screens and little characters. And so Acrobat and another buddy of mine around Christmas time was like, "Hey, you want to try a D&D?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll give it a try. And I just fucking, I mean, I have an addictive personality, so I tend to fall into things like really head first,
Yeah.
and just had a lot of fun with it. And then my character died, and I had like a whole little mental breakdown. He was like a squirrel knight named Beef the Anxious, and he like died. He died valiantly fighting alongside his
Wait.
brethren. And it was
You had a squirrel in the D&D? Oh no.
yeah. His name was Beef the Anxious. We looks like we have a spooky friend.
Oh.
There we are.
Hi, Spooky.
My dog said hello too.
Love it. This is the beauty of live shows, you know, like you get what you get. That's why I said don't come here offended. You're gonna get what you get. So there you go. If you don't like dogs barking, too bad for you. Hi, Spooky. So this is Spooky Little Gnome, and if you look on the chat, it is the icon with a with a gnome.
Yeah, everybody knows Spooky, man. She's one of the Bois Noir fam.
Yes, thank you so much. Of course. Thank you a ton. It's not also nice to put a face to the name. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, instead of that little cartoon character.
Why did you pick the cartoon character really quickly?
I'm sorry?
Why the gnome? Why the gnome? And why Spooky?
Well, I just love spooky stuff like Halloween and Halloween season and all that. Then
Is that your favorite holiday, Halloween?
it is. Yes,
Oh.
it is.
Oh, okay. Who did you dress up as last Halloween? A gnome?
No. No, I actually made one of my dogs into a gnome before, but not me. I usually go with like a witch. I still have the like pointy hat and
Oh,
stuff.
the funny hat. Mm.
Yeah,
So
I have a cackle.
it's okay. I have more than cackle. I got a lot of stuff going this way. No, it's all good. For Halloween, you know what I was? I don't remember what I was. What was I, Beefy? Did I tell you? I don't remember.
Oh shucks, we were gonna put it. You were dressing up as a minion. We were gonna put it into the sticker.
Remember? Oh, that's right. I was. We were the minions. That's right. Me and Chris were minions.
I can't believe I remembered that and you forgot. That's incredible.
No, well, because a lot has happened since then. But yeah. You know, a lot of times you do things on autopilot in certain situations. I remember it was a very long day. And the girl was having a good old time while the parents were suffering. But it's okay. We do things for our children that we normally wouldn't do. But yeah, it was. It's like, oh my god, I'm so tired. But no, Halloween was a good time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Alicia also likes Halloween. I like that. Okay, Spooky, you better put on those shades. All right. Oh, Spooky, cool. Look at that. Okay.
Yeah, you want to put on as much PPE as you can get because it's going to get messy up in here. The tale of Richard Kuklinski, the Iceman, is not for the faint of heart. Spooky, I know you're familiar with this tale. Alistair, what's your knowledge of this?
None. I purposely didn't look at anything at all because you told me to.
Interesting. Okay, so you're going in completely blind. You know nothing.
Yes, completely blind. So fitting of the shades. Yeah, completely. I don't have any glasses here. No, I don't have any glasses.
Oh, these are my glasses.
Oh, these are reading glasses.
Yeah, they're actually my real glasses.
I thought it was a prop. Okay. Never mind. You needed to read. These are functional glasses. Oopsies. Sorry.
Yeah. Tinted,
okay.
We've been saying for how long that we need to get Alistair the lampshade for when he starts throwing shade. He can just, prop humor.
No, I really thought you put on the shade, the sunglasses, because, you said it's not for the faint of heart. So she put on her shades. I'm ready. I didn't know she needs it to read. Got it.
She blocking out all the haters. She got the hater blockers on. She ain't seeing no shade today.
Okay.
That's great.
All right. Well, let's jump on into this, shall we? You guys ready?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay. Well, Richard Kuklinski, for all intents and purposes, is basically the most prolific hitman in the history of the profession. He has 15 confirmed kills, 5 of which he was convicted for. However, he claims his body count to be much higher, somewhere in the... He says sometimes in the 200s, but most of the time he's claiming somewhere in the hundred-ish range. He boasts a pretty wild list of modus operandis as well, with his MO ranging from such as your basic stabbings, shootings, strangulations to the more exotic, such as poisoning with cyanide, crossbow, ice pick, grenades. Apparently, he even claimed to have killed a man with a remote control car with a bomb attached to it. That's something this guy did, apparently, to kill somebody, which is pretty epic. Pretty awesome. It's like
he was
straight out
really
of
having fun with it.
yeah, yeah. He was
That's
really going off.
disturbing.
He was getting creative. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
he was,
getting creative. Oh my god.
he was going into straight Kevin McAllister mode. He's like, you know what? If we're gonna do it, might as well have fun.
Might as well have fun with it.
Make it
Kinds of method. Whatever.
make a show out of it.
Wow. That's insane.
And based on everything we know about him, there's like little to suggest otherwise. By all accounts, he was a ruthless yet efficient murder mastermind who he took the act of killing and really turned it into a profession. He was, in every sense of the word, just a career killer. Like, professional hitman. It was just no nonsense, no muss, no fuss. It was work. Is really what we're gonna be talking about today. Was this man's job? Yeah, it wasn't a crime of passion. He wasn't getting off on this. This was business, first and foremost. In fact, when asked about killing, Richard Kuklinski would respond how he felt about it, and he would say, "I don't, quote, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't have a feeling one way or the other. But I think if I had a choice, I wouldn't." This would likely...
Oh, really? He wouldn't?
Yeah, and that will become pretty commonplace. We'll get into some of the reasons why, as to if he didn't have the choice, he probably wouldn't murder. He claims he didn't have a choice. I don't know how much stock I put into that theory. Spooky, you're pretty well familiar with this case. What do you think? Do you think he enjoyed it? Do you think if he had given the choice, he wouldn't have?
I think he still would have, but I think he would have had a hard time trying to go straight, per se. Like, I think he had a temper, and I think he at least tried to make money from it, I guess.
Oh, wow.
He was going to do it kind of anyway if you, like, made him mad or embarrassed him. So instead of just going to jail for, you know, somebody slighting you one time, I guess he decided to try to make it a career rather than trying to suppress it.
Wow. That's so... Okay, so he is more dangerous than the Israel Keys. Because
I don't know about that. That's an interesting proposition. Israel Keys was...
He doesn't give a crap. Israel Keys cares about being caught. I mean, you know, he's like trying to hide in the bushes. He's like, I'm going to kill you.
I think Israel Keys put more attention and detail into not getting caught than Richard Kuklinski did. I think Richard didn't care as much about getting caught as much as he did just killing somebody to get paid for it, like, regardless of what the consequences were.
Damn it. You can't be safe in this world. No, continue.
He's a straight up fucking fiend, though. Like, I would have been terrified. This guy, this dude is the devil. I mean, straight up. We're gonna get into some of the shit he did, but
big guy.
He has some redeeming qualities, but yeah, like Spooky said, he's a bad dude. Bad dude. A lot of his choices, I mean, so we talk about that, him having a choice or not. Like I said, he claims he did not. Mm-hmm. And this was likely as a result of his many years killing full time, just being completely desensitized, similar to the way an EMT or a doctor would be desensitized to blood and gore. Richard was able to see murder in like more of a logistical sense, if that makes sense, like more of a project that needed to be completed in the same way someone may build a house or bake a cake or take out the trash. It was just part of his day. It was 9 to 5. And he did live a full and happy life with a wife and 3 daughters, you know, all the while with his inner circle basically being none the wiser, just murdering people, if not a daily or at least weekly business. And this is by far like the most perplexing aspect of Kuklinski for me is, by all accounts, he was a great dad. Like, even as her husband sat on death row, his wife would openly tell people, like, we had great memories. He was always there as a good father, as a good husband. He had a violent temper, not the best husband at times. He was abusive, but he straight up hated to leave the house. If he had it his way, he would have been a stay-at-home dad 24/7, and that would have been his prerogative. He wouldn't have left. He would have just focused on fathering 24/7. Spooky, you're shaking your head here. You're muted.
I was just saying I agree. Like, that's pretty much how he was. He was actually, you know, anybody that he had to leave the house because of, I'm sure they got it much worse because
he was mad to leave the house.
Yeah, he references specific occasions where, like, say, for example, on Christmas Eve, he had to, like, dash away, go murder somebody, and then come back and put the toys together, and how angry he was that he had to do that. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Just insane stuff. I mean, this guy, we'll get into some of the back and forth, but he was straight up living that Jekyll and Hyde life.
Damn. I have to say, we really are basic, all of us. I mean, look at these criminals. What? We got nothing on them. I mean, because we all a little bit crazy, but our crazy is clearly normal. Continue, Beefy. Damn.
Well, Carol's saying the same thing you are. Of all these murderers have a normal life, and no one knows what's going on. It seems like that's almost like more often the case than it's not, right? Like we hear all these stories of these murderers getting caught, and we see their neighbors or whatever on the news, and it's like he was just a normal guy. So, like, as much as you say that, like, we're all boring.
We're all very boring.
You think that, but like the guy who lives next door to you, you probably think is boring, could have a lot more going on. You know what I mean? So
people hanging in the basement.
Yeah, we all have our secrets, right?
Just a businessman is like that. Asked what he did for work. That was all he would really ever say, is that he was like a businessman, not what kind of business. Like, and nobody ever really questioned him about it because of the aura about him. Like, they're okay, that's good enough.
Wow.
Yeah, he talks a lot about that in a lot of these documentaries of his family, just kind of saying, like, we didn't ask questions. That was like something we just didn't do. When he had to go, he just got up and left, whether it was the middle of the night or the middle of Thanksgiving dinner. When dad had to go, and that was it. And it was an understood thing.
Yeah.
When he had to go away to trips, whether it be at the chop shop, as they would call, dismembering body parts, he was working as fast as he could to get back to his family. I mean, you just talk about like these opposite ends of the spectrum. As we just referenced, Richard himself calls it the Jekyll and Hyde experience. Part of me wishes he had just been born like a normal 9-to-5 guy. Like, I feel like he would have just lived a much happier life.
I don't know. Do you think the wife knew or had an inclination?
Yeah, she knew. She puts on every affront possible that we had no idea. We didn't ask him. We didn't ask any questions. She's very New York. Like, you hear the New York accent pop out in her, but I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, your husband's leaving in the middle of the night, gone for several days at a time. He's coming home with giant bags of cash. He's got this like crazy ass temper. He's bumping elbows with mafiosos. Like, as much as you try and say you didn't know, you're putting those pieces together.
Yeah, at the very least, if not murdering, he's hoeing. Like, what do you mean coming back? Like, what are you doing? Like, I would have said something.
Right. You had a clue.
Yeah, like he's definitely not up there being a saint. Wow.
Yeah, he's making that money on the street one way or the other. You know what I mean? However he's doing it. What about you, Spooky? You think the wife knew?
I think she at least had some kind of an inkling. Like, I think she was afraid of what the answer was, but she was just like, he's not bringing it around here. Like, I think she was like, I'm gonna let that be how it is, and I'm not gonna.
Probably right. It's like, too much headache.
But yeah, like I said, as much as he probably might have lived a happier life had he not been exposed to violence at such a young age, it was his unfortunate reality, both the benefits and the consequences of that violence being exposed to him as a child. And part of him would become addicted, in a sense, to that feeling of power. He liked to hurt people. Yeah. That was something that he would say very, very frequently, and it was as a direct result of his upbringing.
I knew it.
Yeah.
It's always an effed up childhood. Okay, go ahead.
It really is. Just a tale as old as time. Well, so Richard Kuklinski was born on April 11th, 1935, to extremely devout Catholic parents. His father, Stanley, there on the left was a abusive alcoholic, and his mother, Anna Cecilia McNally, was considered, quote, a cancer who destroyed everything she touched.
Oh, God.
And by all accounts, did not treat her children that much better.
Oh, my God. First of all, how unfortunate. Good-looking couple, but damn. So, okay. All right. Okay.
Richard's older brother apparently died at the age of 7 as a result of being beaten to death by his father. However, according to Kuklinski himself, this was covered up by his parents and presented to the authorities as just like a fall down the stairs.
What?
Jesus.
Crazy. Like,
what?
You imagine you come home, like you're the wife and your husband's just killed one of your kids and you're just like, well,
Okay.
well, tell me found on this. I literally have in the script right here just a shrug emoji. Like, well, just tell me fell down the stairs. Like, okay, another one bites the dust, I guess. Like, what
And
the
then
fuck?
and then you have to go to bed next to him and
Oh
sleep
my god.
and wake
That's
up and make breakfast.
like kids nowadays. Like I don't think that would even be remotely possible to get away
Nope.
with. Kids say everything. They're like,
Nope.
"Dad, my bunny under the bed," or like
Yeah.
something like that, and you're like, "Shut up!" Can you
Yeah,
imagine?
it's so far away removed from what is even seems possible nowadays. You know what I mean? Like, oh my god,
God.
never.
This, judging from the picture, you never know people's true self.
Yeah.
Look at that. All right. Murderers, allegedly.
But yeah, suffice to say, there wasn't much love in the home.
Yeah.
Kuklinski's wife would say he would get very distant when talking about his childhood. There would be times where, for example, he'd be like kind of standing there at the sink and the topic would come up of his childhood and his eyes would just kind of, they dart away and you could just kind of see him like kind of reliving that pain. And he would just kind of trail off or change the topic without getting into great detail most of the time. Like, it was clear to those closest to him the aggression that Kuklinski seemed to enjoy, like that rush and feeling of power he got while hurting people, it was as a direct result of being beaten as a child in a position where he was basically powerless to stop it.
Yeah. It's almost like it was like taking revenge on his father. If you're going to psychoanalyze him, like take that.
Yeah, I mean, he
Take that,
basically,
mommy.
yeah, he was basically fighting his father every time he fought somebody. It was like we hear it over and over again, like the abused become the aggressor. Like, if it lends any more credence to the idea that like Kuklinski's fascination with violence stems directly from the result of the abuse he experienced at the hands of his parents, his younger brother Joseph Kuklinski, he was also convicted of murder. Joseph Kuklinski in 1970 was convicted of raping a 12-year-old Pamela Dial and then threw her dog off of a 5-story building. Jesus, what a fucking monster.
So who's this again? That's the brother?
Yeah, this is Richard's brother. Grew up in the same household. Obviously not the one that was beaten to death.
Yeah, I mean, Beefy, really, I couldn't make that connection.
Throwing a little bit of shade there, yeah.
Wow. Well, you know what? He also looks very angry.
Yeah. The abuse, it's become old hot on this channel for a reason. It's real. A lot of these murderers we talk about are products of other cruelty. And it's sad, but it's also, it's not a defense. Kuklinski's upbringing.
Well, I have a question for you then, speaking of. So since we are aware of it, as a silver lining, when if you do get children, how will that change the way you interact with them?
So this is something I've thought a lot about. Not as of recently, but like in the past year, I've definitely like had some hard truths. I think like I was very much raised by a tough love hand of like disciplined children behave, basically, is kind of the mindset. But there is a lot of science and a lot of opinions to suggest otherwise, that like even so much as yelling at your kids really isn't like teaching them anything. Like there's been a lot of science suggests that even just putting your child in a sense of fight or flight by emotional turmoil isn't really teaching them anything. It's really just more making them scared of you, which shouldn't be the goal. You know what I mean? Like, just because a few people I feel like a lot of people from that society point to it, well, I got beat, so I was fine. Well, like, okay, just because a few people came out of that era, okay, didn't mean that there weren't better ways. Like, doesn't mean that person who came out all right wouldn't have been a much better person had they had just fucking loving parents.
Yeah. And, I'm going to add to that because, we are at a disciplinary stage with our daughter. And so, you guys know how I was raised, right? And, how do I say this? So there's no yelling and shouting, of course, but the disciplinary is, long story short, if we don't want her to do something, we say no up to 3 times. If she still does it, then either the object is removed or she gets removed of the situation. Something happens. and it works. It really works where we don't have to really raise the voice or certainly not raise the hand, and it works in terms of teaching her what to do and what not to do. And what I did notice is that actually this week she was doing something that was almost dangerous, and we reacted being like, hey, like, and then it froze her and she looked at me, and her eyes, it was as if like I never heard that before, and she freaked out.
So they actually say, it's funny you're bringing this up, they say that's really the only context where you should yell at your kids, where like they're about to walk in front of a car or stick a fork in an outlet, where it's like, you need to stop what you're doing immediately, because it needs to be that effective, where they're like, huh?
Right. And it was visceral reaction because there's no control. Like, I was like, oh, what are you doing? Stop. And she completely melted and had a meltdown because she was like, I would never experience that. But at the same moment, I went in and comforted her, and I was telling her, like, no, this is not good. And it works because she's never done it again. It's so crazy to me how like whatever the books says actually works.
Go figure. It's almost like people studied it and know what they're saying. Huh.
Yeah, it works. Yeah.
They say there's no book on childhood. There's actually, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, there's actually a lot of books on being a parent. Like, turns out, like, do a little research. Turns out there's quite a lot of stuff out there to teach you. Anyways, let's take a look at some of these comments here. Well, in those times, it was normal to beat kids. Mom was probably bullying kids to feel control over something in her life.
Oh, that's true.
Again, like the abused. The husband, the father was beating her too, so she's just as much of a victim. Notice the brother has scars on his forehead, maybe brain damage to the frontal cortex. Lots of studies for that causing killers. Yeah, it's like that trifecta of the serial killer. It's like bedwetting, prefrontal cortex damage, and what's the other one? It's like no empathy for others or something like that. I forget.
Anyway, either way, Carol, you on fire, okay? You want some water?
Alicia's asking how old your daughter is, if you're comfortable saying.
Oh yeah, she is going to be 2 years old in July. Can you believe it's been 2 years since she's been born? I don't even remember any of it. I remember. It's like, oh my God, I have a kid that's 2 years old.
Huh.
Oh, going to be 2 in July. Oh, my baby.
Oh gosh. So On Fire Carol here saying, I was beaten and screamed at by my mom. Yes, it did damage to all of us. None of her grandchildren were beaten, and they're all lovely people. Wow, so she just skipped it. That's fun. And then just decided to be an asshole for no reason. Jesus. So Alicia's saying the same thing you are. Life and death situation, only to raise voice. She's actually the person that kind of taught me about this. She is a fucking awesome mom, Alicia.
Alicia? Hey, girl, hey. Yeah. Yeah. Life and death situation. Oh, yeah, you scream. No!
Spooky, you got any kids?
No.
You're a dog mom?
Oh, yeah. Through and through.
Samesies.
Spooky is like, you idiots.
Yeah. You fucked up.
I know I would be a terrible parent. I have like no maternal instincts. Like I would. Oh my God, it would be a nightmare. And I have
Well, good on you for recognizing that and not like putting that undue burden onto a life that never asked to be a life or society at large. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I'm not gonna do that. I know I have a temper, and I'm like the kind of person that like when I say something, I mean it, and I'm why listening.
Well, that takes an enormous amount of self-control and
energy. Don't forget energy. Alicia, you know what I mean. Alicia, you have more than one kid. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Alicia have too much time. No, I'm just saying. I've always giggled people have more than one child because originally I wanted 2 kids, but honey, one is enough for me.
All right. Well, getting back to our story here. Kuklinski's upbringing, like I was trying to say, it might be a way to characterize or explain why he did some of the things he did, but I as your humble narrator, I will never try to present these facts as a way to justify any of these actions. And so I want to play a clip here. It's going to be one of Kuklinski's earliest attacks. And while I get this queued up, thoughts thus far, ladies and germs.
And germs? I mean, boys are dirty. Yes, that's true. But oh my god. No, the only thought really that I put here, listen, the main thought I put is he took this as a job. A crossbow? Do you know how hard it is to get a crossbow in a modern world and then prepare it and then point it and shoot it?
Yeah.
That's more work than the remote control car because that's easy. That
Yeah.
the crossbow, it's like, honey, he really, really loves his job. And
It's a
then
valid point.
yeah, and then the third part is his childhood, you know. Is he the firstborn? Is he the secondborn? Is he the lastborn? Where does he fall in a
I
house?
He moved
believe
up
he.
in rank.
He's
Yeah.
the
So
firstborn?
no, I believe his. Yeah. Wait. So
He
his.
moved up in rank, she said. Okay.
Yeah, because the older brother died.
Yes. So what number?
I think after the God, I can't believe we're laughing about a 7-year-old being beaten to death. But yeah, I think after the kid died, he became the eldest.
Okay. So all right. Okay.
Moving on, let's play this clip, shall we?
Yes, yes.
My father would beat me just if I looked at him. He gave me this impersonal feeling I have to when people die in front of me, especially loudmouth people.
Ooh.
Loudmouth people remind me of my father. Once a loudmouth person starts with me, I love it. That's the only excuse I need.
Wow.
Look at the smile on his face.
One night in a bar, a loudmouth made the mistake of insulting the 18-year-old Kuklinski in front of people. A couple of hours later, the Iceman saw his chance to get even.
I come out of this bar and I see him sleeping in his car. I said, I got you, little sucker. Now I got you.
It's so New York. I got you, little
I'm gonna
sucker.
light your fire. And I did.
I'm gonna light your
What?
I
fire,
set up a
babe.
bottle, some gasoline, and I threw it in the car with him. And he was
Bitch, you did
screaming
not.
and yelling and burning, and the car burned. And I could smell him. Walked down the block and I could hear him as I turned the corner. He was still yelling. This was a personal thing, yeah. See, this was a guy I disliked.
What did he do to you?
He made me mad.
So
Love
yeah,
the movie.
you're getting a little bit of a taste there of what we're kind of talking about here.
Mhm.
Just like that fiery, like almost hair trigger temper, right? Like the Jekyll and Hyde. Like you see him kind of laughing and joking about this, and then like he becomes very serious. Like you almost see it in that moment, like the look come over his face where it's like, we're not really talking and laughing and joking anymore. Like we're talking about how I fucking threw a bottle of gasoline, like basically a Molotov cocktail into a guy. It's a horrifying story.
Yeah, of course.
Carol Austin again, just like firing all cylinders. You can see the fucking glee in his eyes at first. He's like, yeah, I love putting loudmouths in their place. Like he was fucking stoked to tell that story.
Yeah, he particularly enjoyed killing anybody who reminded him of his dad. Like if you're reminding him of his dad, there's no way that you would survive, or you better not speak to me, otherwise I'm gonna kill you. Simple as that. All it took was just a person to remind him of his father. Wow, so I had to be nice to him. Okay, well, I'm black, so maybe I'll get away with it. But look, here's the thing. Can I tell you a little secret? Biffy, maybe you know, maybe you guys know, but I can totally relate to the trauma trigger that he is experiencing from his father because so I do have my father's temper, and there is
Really? Dude,
oh, no.
you've been doing this podcast for a while. I've only seen you legit mad once.
I have a temper.
Huh.
Yeah, I do have a temper, but it gets particularly triggered where I become uncontrollable when I am faced with someone that exudes my dad, to the point where when that happens, I mean, I have different triggers, different ways to kind of reel me back in. One of them is I tell Christopher, just say the name of my father, and that usually snaps me back in. And the other one is, it's going to sound crazy, depending on where I am, who's in front of me, but I um I called the authorities. It happened one time, and I said, I'm about to do something very stupid. Please come here. Here's the address.
Well,
Yeah,
that's a responsible option if you
because
know you're gonna.
I go into a rage, and so I can relate. It's a trauma trigger, and my father was absolutely despicable, and we endured crazy amount of abuse. But I can relate to the trigger aspect of him and his dad. Like I understand why he's happy and why he cannot control it, because it's
It's
very
a product of his environment.
yeah.
He doesn't. I mean, how is he? That's all he's ever known. So why would
Mm.
he be like, "This is weird"?
I know.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
the
his
only
brother-
response he has been taught to in the face of adulation or feeling senses of maybe being afraid or challenged. It's just violence.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
Sad.
it's very
Well-
sad.
Richard would end up going on to marry Linda, his first wife, whom was 9 years his senior, and would go on to father two sons, Richard Jr. and David. Jesus, can you imagine? There's another guy just walking around there with the same name, Richard Kuklinski. I'd
Wow.
change my fucking name.
I bet that goes well.
Yeah,
I wasn't able to find much on this marriage. I think for all intents and purposes, Linda has reasonably remained out of the spotlight, and
Yeah.
so of his sons. When talking about Kuklinski's family, we're primarily going to be dealing with his second wife, and that is Barbara, who he met while working as a truck driver. He would divorce Linda and marry Barbara in September of 1961, going on to father daughters Merrick and Christian, seen right here, and also another son named Dwayne. And this is who Richard would tell you was the driving force in his life. According to him, he had, as we said, no choices in the matter. And given that he had gotten himself wrapped up into murdering and hire for the mafia, I can't say I would completely disagree with him. Above all, given the choice, Richard will tell you he would have chosen his family and not to murder, that this was ultimately his job. His job was luckily able to afford him a lot of time at home with his kids. And as we said, to his credit, even his wife and his daughters, they basically paint the guy out to be like a saint, like the perfect dad. Like he had times where he had to go and nobody questioned that. And he would, times where he'd get really angry and be abusive. But
Wow.
kind of just, it was what it was. You know what I mean? They don't say, hey, where are you off to, Pop? What do you got going on? Where are you going? It was just completely understood that we don't talk about your father's business.
Wow.
Like his stance at, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I wonder if at any point throughout his career, if the fate of his daughters ever pop into his head, the fate of his children, sure, the spouse, whatnot, but at some point I wonder if the kids were like,
Hey, Bubba's in the chat. What's up, man?
oh, hi, Boba.
Booba.
Booba. Oh, Carol, yeah, I just saw your message. Thank you, Carol. Hi, Booba.
The difference is you're a bigger man and recognize it and know how to control the
Yeah.
situation. Good for you. Yeah, very well.
Yeah.
I'll say that Bubba's a very similar experience as well. We're talking about Bubba. He's got a
With who?
So Bubba and I are like somewhat friendly. We was in that same D&D thing I was talking about earlier, and we had a situation recently where he was just like, "Look, I'm just going to take a step back. I'm a little irritated, and I just don't want to say anything." And I was like really impressed by that. It was like, "Oh wow," he just recognized that it's weird that this is coming up, and he's just in the chat. But yeah, it was cool. He was just like, "Look, I'm getting pissed. I don't want to say anything. I mean," and he just like took a step back, and I was like kind of in awe for a moment. Like, oh damn, it's cool that he's able to. I'm not that way, you know what I mean? Like I just full court press, balls to the wall. Yeah.
No, I'm saying. I'm playing.
Well, at any rate, yeah, as we're trying to say here, he was not a great husband. He was very abusive. Barbara described it very similar to the way Richard does, of that Jekyll and Hyde complex. Barbara basically refers to it as good Richie and bad Richie. Good Richie could be loving and tender. She recalls one night that her son was sick and he stayed up all night at his bedside, just kind of tending to him. And then there were other periods, sometimes extending from hours to days, months even, where he was abusive, unpredictable fits of rage, smashing furniture, just a very volatile and chaotic individual.
Yeah.
But by all accounts, he never laid hands on his children, which is kind of incredible.
Well, I think it's because the kids were young and they were afraid of daddy. So they always behaved.
I think he mentions at one point too that it was kind of understood that if he ever raised a hand to his kids, that his wife, I think the way he puts it is his wife would have taken a butcher knife to him. Technically, I mean, who knows? Who knows if that's just kind of a light family joke, oh yeah, she would have killed me, but if he's because at the end of the day, he's abusive to her. He can, if she's in a legit abusive relationship, he's looking at her more as property. So I don't know how much she could have really stood in the way if he wanted to do that. I think he just really loved his kids and didn't want to beat them personally.
Really? Okay, well, I disagree. Okay, what do you think? Do you think he loved his family, or they were just a prop, just an illusion of this is my normal life because I don't want to admit to myself that I'm actually just like my dad?
Yeah, I think they were kind of part of a mask that he was trying to wear, and whenever the mask started to slip, if the kids misbehaved or the wife didn't fall in line, that would piss him off because you're not doing what you're supposed to do. We're supposed to be perfect.
I do remember reading a story in my research for this where one of his daughters did something wrong, and because he couldn't hit her, he killed her dog while she was at school, and so she just came home to her dog dead. Thought that was really fucked up, almost worse than. Oh my god, I don't know. I'm a big animal lover, and that I read that and I was like, what a fucking piece of shit.
Wow.
That's almost worse than hitting your kid. The dog didn't do anything. Anyways.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I answered my own question. No, his kids never pop into his head because he's clearly a malignant narcissist with an aptitude and a love and desire to kill. Oh my god, it's so dangerous. What we do? Hold on, what will I think? We should do a cage match and just envision who will win between him, Keys. Just wouldn't that be great? They should have an amphitheater, bring back the Colosseum and put all the murderers
Zodiac,
in there.
Dahmer,
yeah,
Kuklinski, and Keys. Who do you think is walking out?
Kuklinski.
Yeah, 100% Kuklinski. Judging from this, though, he's gonna be wait, yeah.
Dahmer's going down first. Let's put it that way. He really wasn't much of a fighter.
Dahmer is what? No, Dahmer's gone. Then, how about Ted Bundy? Where is he gonna go? Ted Bundy's gone.
Bundy was situational. He really wasn't that much of a bad boy. And Zodiac, we don't really know who he is, so I guess he's kind of an oddball. He could be a badass, but I think he really more got lucky in his situation. So I have to agree.
Only hated women.
And Ted Bundy only hated women, so no, he can't fight. So Ted Bundy and Dahmer are out. Now, wait. So now it's Keys, and but Keys is a military guy, so Keys can actually kick the butt of Richard. You know what I mean?
But honestly though, how many hand-to-hand fights do you think Keys was actually in? You know what I mean? He used weapons, he used rope, he was tactical. Right. Kuklinski beat people to death with his bare hands several times.
And he looks like he loved pain. So every time Keys punches him, he's like, yeah.
He would have fucking loved it.
Yeah, he would have loved it.
Hit me some more, motherfucker.
Hit me some more.
You can picture it,
Kuklinski wins.
They actually said that when they eventually arrested Kuklinski and they were trying to put the cuffs on his wrists and his feet, one guy said it was every bit of energy he had to get one click on the cuffs.
Yeah.
When he was putting them on Kuklinski, and the feet, the whatever they're called, leg.
They wanted to put him in leg shackles.
They were like, nope, that's not going on there. It just was not going to fit. That's how big of a man he was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just Jonesy says you can create a bracket and battle. That sounds like an idea for a podcast. Yeah. Serial killer
fantasy league.
Yeah. Serial killer battle royal. Who's the last man standing?
Yeah.
That actually sounds like a pretty fun idea.
That's
for
a great idea.
Just saying.
Yeah. Okay. Let me put that as a note. That's a great idea. Thank you.
A celebrity death match on MTV, but we'll
with
do the
murderers.
Yeah.
serial.
Sounds pretty fun. Another day. All right. Well, let's get into some of Richard's exploits as a criminal. Yay! Beginning in the 1960s, Kuklinski worked in a Manhattan film lab. It was basically just a black market movie studio cutting backdoor copies of Disney films, but like, let's be real, just basically pornos. It's at this point he's charged with writing a bad check. The only crime that would actually be on his record, where he would finally be, when he finally would be indicted for the several murders we're here to discuss today, that would be the only thing on his record, was that bad check. And it's at this studio he would end up getting introduced to some of his fellow associates that would basically become his gang. He would kind of form his own little burglary group with like fellow associates. So he basically ends up running like a little criminal enterprise out of this little porn studio, and ends up catching the eye of organized crime.
Wow. You know what? I've read that that's how the mafia actually get you. You know, because they're not interested in regular boring people like me and you Spooky. Yep. They're looking for the ones who are a little extraordinary. So yeah, if you want to get the mafia attention, start a business and be a jerk. Yeah, they'll like you.
Yeah, I mean, the 5 families in New York, they know pretty much everything that's going on. Like, I've even heard stories that like over half of the gumball machines in New York City are owned by the mob. Like, they run so much of what's going on in New York City. If you try to make any kind of move, they're going to hear about it. And if they start hearing the same names over and over and over again, eventually they're going to be like, who is this guy that's just like going to bars every night, kicking the shit out of people and selling like tens of thousands of dollars worth of porn? Like, can I meet him? Because I want to be a part of it.
Gumball.
Like, you can just picture a mafioso kind of bumping elbows and like, so he's selling how much in porn?
$10,000 a day?
Yeah. Can we exchange numbers? Like, can you introduce me? I feel like we could be friends, you know?
That's a lot of money in porn. $10,000 a day.
Yeah.
What are we doing wrong? No. I could do that. I could sell porn for you. $10K a day.
All right.
Minus the killing.
Well, starting on January 30th of the same year, Kuklinski set up a meeting with one George Malaban, that's who we're looking at right now, under the guise of selling him what? Some videotapes. Yeah. And it's at this first encounter that Kuklinski realizes a very important truth. If you can convince someone, preferably of the criminal variety, that you can sell them something for a very expensive price, whatever it is they're looking for, they will show up to said meeting with basically a large suitcase full of cash, and you can kill them and just take that cash.
I knew that was going there. Smart.
Because this would basically become the outline for like a lot of Kuklinski's attacks. It's almost like he had a light bulb moment here with this guy where it's like, damn, bro, like, if I could just tell people I'm going to sell them like a bunch of shit and then just kill them, like, that money is basically mine. I just need to get rid of the body, and then, like, I'll just take it, I guess?
Yeah.
So Malaban shows up to Kuklinski's studio with some 27 grand in tow, and it wouldn't be until the next month his body would be discovered in a 55-gallon drum near a chemical plant in outskirts New Jersey.
Charlotte, completely random. Hi, Charlotte. I hope I said hi to you, but Beefy, she wants you to say.
Wait. Let me botch this this French as per usual. Stup de bif de midi bonsoir. Un agres autrement devais faire un gros caprice.
The only thing you got right is gros caprice. Everything else was really botch. Now she just said, say hi to her. Otherwise, she's going to.
Hello, Charlotte. It's hard sometimes when we see people come midstream because we're like in the middle of it just disrupts the whole flow. Like, I did it for Bubba, and the whole conversation came to a whole. We had to talk about Bubba for 5 minutes. So we're doing it now. How are you, Charlotte? Yeah. We love you. It's okay. You're late. Welcome. We had like 11 people here at one point, by the way. So what's up, everybody?
Hey everybody, but again, just to really, because I don't know if you do that, Beefy, but I turn off because it distracts me, so I don't see anybody, so I turn it on and off depending, so I focus more on when Beefy talks. So sometimes I may not see the comment because it's off, and then I turn it on, then I see it all.
Acrobat saying hello. Okay, now we're gonna start asking for shout outs. Okay, hello, everybody. Hello. And yes, I deliberately asked Alistair to look at the comments because there was one episode where like I'm trying to have a conversation with him, and he's literally not even listening to me, just going comment to comment to comment. It's like we cannot have a podcast where you're just trying to interact with chat.
Right. So that's why my comments are turned off. I turn it on and off here and there, but most of the time I don't see it.
No, I've gotten pretty good to being the eye behind the sky for this podcast, to where I can kind of monitor everything and also run the ship. So it was definitely a little clunky at first, but I feel like I've in my stride now. I can keep an eye on it. I can kind of see what's going on in this chat, keep on my script, keep things moving along. I mean, we'll see. It's live. Shit happens.
I know. It's live.
Anyways, so yeah, that's like the first confirmed convicted killing we know about is the murder of George Maliband. Let's get into one of Richard's more high-profile murders, and this was the attack of Paul Hoffman. Hoffman was a pharmacist, and by all accounts, he basically had no mafia ties. He wasn't even a criminal. He simply, as a pharmacist, saw an opportunity to make a rather profitable deal on a drug called Tagament, procured for the right price. That's what this is. Side note, this is like one of the only memories I have of my father is this fucking Tagament shit. He had like a really bad drug problem. I know it's probably shocking because I'm an addict myself, but he would just down the stuff. I remember like going to sleep in his bed and it was just like no blankets, like crumbs everywhere, just like living a life of a vagrant.
Oh, wow.
And there was always like empty fucking like empty things that tag him everywhere. I think there's something in the chemical of cocaine that like makes your acid reflux work up. And so he was constantly like, we have a joke in our family, he'd be like hacking up stuff like we call it like the family call because he's like trying to hawk up his acid, and he was always taking his fucking Tagaments. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh god, not the fucking Tagament. Anyways, I didn't mean to insert some of my bullshit in there. I even had to look for the old school label, because when I looked up Tagament, it was like the new one, and I was like, no, that's not the Tagament I know from like the fucking 90s. Anyways, so it's unclear how Richard is able to discover and convince Paul that he could theoretically get his hands on a bunch of this Tagament. Perhaps it was just job connections, who knows? But Paul, just hoping to buy some basically over-the-counter like medicine. Like, yes, this is a drug deal, but it's illegal drugs. Mm-hmm. He shows up to Richard's warehouse with, again, just a big suitcase filled with money, and without verifying, without doing any homework, he hands this high-profile leader of a gang operation, where's my merchandise? To which Richard would very coldly answer, there is no merchandise, and then just very quickly hold the pistol up to his chin and pull the trigger, and click, the gun would jam. Can you imagine what a fucking, like, what an awkward little, it had to have been like a second or two where like he just realized he's being set up for death. Like, Richard ends up beating this guy to death with a tire iron, but like, I wonder, did he beg? Did he run? Like, did he fight? Like, it most likely would have been a pretty intense fight, but like, just imagine in that moment, like, not only are you not getting the drugs and making all this money you thought, but like, this is now a fight for life or death.
I know. Right? Oh my God. First of all, the amount of screaming and shouting, and to beat someone to death, you know how much effort that is? It's a lot of work, believe it or not. It's not as easy as you might think, because it's like dodge, block, out, push, run. Like, there's a lot of work. By the time you're done, like, you think about it, it's like, and then
what would you guys do if you're in that situation, though?
I would fight, because it's fight to the death, right?
Alicia says I'd pee. I have to think the word "oops" comes to mind, like a bad call. Perhaps another, like perhaps I shouldn't have trusted like the mafia's best hitman with incredibly large sums of cash is another. I mean, Smokey, what do you think? This happens to you. What's going through your head? What's your first move here? Richard Kuklinski, jump scam.
Tell him I had the money on me.
Yeah.
Damn. that is a big mistake. I don't want to sound like I do a lot of crimes or anything crazy, but I feel like that's like some day one type stuff where you're like, oh yeah, I have the money somewhere. Do you have the stuff?
Yeah, right. Like we're not even criminals, and we know that. Like that's just that's cliche for a reason. You got the money. Yeah, you got the stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, with a little caveat, like if I don't respond in 5 minutes, you get nothing.
Yeah,
like,
that too. I'd be like, hey, guys, I'm going over here to meet this guy.
That's right. Wow.
Oh, Alicia says Venmo has saved us all. Yeah, really.
Yeah,
thank God for Venmo.
And then
saving.
I see Carol Austin said that she kick him in the cojones. Yeah, I know. By the way, listen, girls and guys, when you fight somebody, nothing is fair. You bite them like you're eating steak and you hit them in the balls. There's no ouch. No.
You thumb in the eyes too.
Yep. Poke the eyes out and use your teeth like you're eating steak. Like have a good old meal. Yeah. Yeah, like eat. Wow.
Well, rolling into the 1980s, Kuklinski basically has like he's got a little gang of mercenaries under his belt. He's got a few buttons on his collar, so to speak, and is more as ipso facto the leader of a small little mob. Trouble would end up rearing its ugly head, however, as his criminal racket would draw the attention of police. By 1982, Percy House, another member of Kuklinski's gang, was arrested and was therein released on bail the next day. Something of an unspoken truth in the mafia, where if a guy gets pinched and is back on the street the next day, it's typically understood that he talked. Because, like, why would you get arrested and then, you know, like, not serve jail time, especially if you're a career... Oh, did we lose Spooky? I guess she's audio only.
It says audio only.
So, yeah, wise guys keep their mouth shut is kind of the rule of thumb. And so it was, like, basically understood that this guy was cooperating with police.
Yeah. Oh, that's not good. First of all, that's pretty smart of the mafia to put that one and one together. But if okay, all right, fine.
Well, so at this point, it's just Kuklinski. He's just running this little small band of. He hasn't like really quite indoctrinated into the mafia at this point. It's really just
him and his crew. Yeah.
Yeah. But shortly after then, warrants would soon be issued for when Gary Smith and Daniel Deppner, big time players in Kuklinski's crew. It might as well have been a death sentence then for all three. But there we go. We got Spooky back.
Oh, I kicked my dogs out and pawned them off on my husband. He just got.
Oh, gotcha. No worries. But yeah, it might as well have been a death sentence for all three. But Gary, this is who we're talking about here. Gary Smith. Gary truly sealed his fate by mentioning in earshot of Richard that he intended on, quote, going straight, and he would then be fed a cyanide-laced hamburger. However, when the drug took too long to kick in, he ended up being strangled to death. Daniel Demper, the only other member of the gang who was presented with an arrest warrant, was the only one to do the killing this time around, however, surely at the request of Kuklinski, likely in an effort to keep Richard from killing himself. Smith's body would be placed in between the mattress and box spring in a hotel room that would go with regular patrons for another 5 days before the smell got so bad they couldn't rent the room out anymore. Finally, on December 27th in 1982, after two guests refused to accept the room due to the smell, housekeeping started to investigate it and discovered the body of Smith. Crazy.
Wow.
Can you imagine being like, God, that mattress was so lumpy?
Yeah. I knew I smelled something in there. I was just thinking that. Like, imagine being one of the guests that stayed in the room like a couple of days before. Like, oh my God, I slept out on top of a dead body.
Oh my God. Do you think that happened? No, honestly.
Yeah. Like a bunch of people stayed in that room before they found the body. Yeah.
What the hell?
Craziness, right?
Oh boy. Now I'm gonna lift my mattress every time I go to a hotel now.
I would.
How shocking. Can you imagine if you did that and you actually saw a dead body? Like, I guess we're both fainting together, but oh my God. That's some whoa. And yeah, the smell, like Carol Austin says.
I wouldn't be able to get over it. Like with me, I'm so sensitive to smell.
Talk about a double occupancy. All right. Well, so for anybody that's not unclear, obviously, our next victim here, for anybody in suspense, is going to be obviously Ruppner. Yeah, of course, it's that guy. The other guy in the crew who had the arrest warrant.
Damn. So pretty much he killed his whole crew.
Yeah, pretty much. Basically, yeah. Once he realized that their arrest warrants were out and that like people were getting pinched, yeah, he starts just pretty much taking everybody out one by one.
Now, do we feel bad about them, or do we say to them?
So this guy was involved in the murder of his other compatriot. So this gentleman, no. I think the first guy who got arrested, I don't know if Kuklinski ever killed him, but if so, I would feel bad for him. Then again, he did talk to the police, which is like kind of a you live by the omerta, live by the sword, die by the sword. I mean, they knew what they're getting into. Everybody, all the players knew the stakes.
They knew the stake.
Yeah, this was the game they were playing, and they were playing a very dangerous game, and things did not work out well for them, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The first guy did talk to the police, and they put him in hiding or in protection.
Oh, so
and
he
that
lived.
was the reason why the two that you just said that got killed. Richard actually got them that hotel room to hide out in until lay low for a little while because the police had issued warrants for them.
Yeah, his plan from the beginning was probably just to kill him.
Yeah,
hey guys, I got a hotel room for all of us. What do you say? We have a Twilight watch party. What do you think?
Yeah, okay, boss.
I'll bring the burgers.
Nice. These taste funny, boss. Yep.
And we would eat it all. Like, look at that, movies and burgers. What a great hideout. Yeah. It's like, who doesn't want to do that? We eat all of it. Oh God. We're so easy. So terrible.
So yeah, anybody not playing at home, Deppner was doomed the moment those arrest warrants came out. Kuklinski killed Deppner in his daughter's fiance's apartment while out of town. In fact, he was able to convince said fiance that someone had broken in and attempted to kill him and helped him dispose of the body. I thought that was fucking insane.
Wait, what? Oh, no. You clearly didn't read this right. Where are your glasses, Beefy? What? Are you serious?
Yeah, so he brings this guy to fucking his daughter's fiance's apartment, kills him, and then tells the fucking fiancés that somebody broke in and tried to kill me. Like, what the fuck? And he just helps him?
The body? Oh, yes, sure, no problem. Really? Oh my God.
I think he explains it's like he was like on the run from the law or something like that. Spooky. Do you know anything more about this?
The daughter's boyfriend was out of town, so he took Deppner from the hotel room, obviously, and put him in the apartment. And then nothing's really known about how it transpired, but eventually he essentially kills Deppner. And then when the boyfriend comes back, he was like, "Oh yeah, it was a friend of mine that was in trouble, so he was hiding here, but I think somebody broke in and killed him. The best thing for us to do is just to get rid of the body so that we're not involved. So just help me get rid of it." And the guy was just like, okay, you're my girlfriend's big, giant, scary father. I think I'll just
that's probably more what it was. It's like, this guy's scaring the shit out of me. I'm just gonna help you because if not, you're probably gonna kill me. Let's be real.
Oh, this is why. Please, if you
because even that doesn't make sense. Like, we need to dispose of this body so we're not involved. Like, no, disposing of the body makes you involved. Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Wow.
But if Richard Kuklinski was saying it, I'd be like, yeah, it sounds right. That checks out. I think I'll just do that. You get the legs, I get the arms, or how do you want to do that?
Yeah. And I'd immediately go to the police.
Oh, my Lord.
I'm stupid. I'm sorry.
No, you're not wrong. I mean, placed in that position, what else could you do? I mean, it's not like you're walking out of there knowing that you saw him in a dead body. You know what I mean? Like, you're not saying no. It's a good point. I'm actually glad that you contextualized all that because I did wonder, like, what the fuck? But yeah.
Like, he's not going to pinky promise not to say anything and get away with it.
Pinky promise. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sure.
And even if he had, as if Kuklinski would have fucking accepted those terms, you know what I mean? No way. He would have been taken out of two bodies. So Deppner's body would be discovered after being swarmed by vultures on a nearby biking trail, and when they did the autopsy, they discovered burnt canned beans in his stomach left undigested. Left with no other means of death, police theorized that Kuklinski poisoned Deppner with the beans, as no restaurant would have served him said burnt beans, and Kuklinski was being reportedly last seen with Deppner. Not to mention, by this point, cyanide is basically becoming Kuklinski's MO of choice.
Gosh.
Moving on, Louis Magsgay. Mazgay? Am I saying that right? Mazgay.
Louis Mazgay
Went missing in 1981, just before telling people he was meeting Kuklinski in hope of what? Procuring $95,000 worth of videotapes. That's what. Why in God's man a man would need $100,000 worth of blank videotapes is fucking beyond me. But hey, to each their own, I suppose. Richard shot him in the head and froze the body for 2 years. He made a little mistake, however, though, in not letting the body thaw all the way before dumping. Medical examiners discovered ice crystals in the blood, ultimately earning Kuklinski's nickname, the Iceman. So it's this attack that he earns his moniker from.
Wow.
Fascinating, huh?
First of all, how do you carry 95,000 in a suitcase? Oh.
You can fit $1 million into a suitcase if you have large enough denomination bills. Yeah, it's not as much money as you think it is.
In $100 bills? All right. Let me just Google it real quick. I need a visual. $1 million?
Prove it, Beefy.
Yeah, I thought I saw this in a movie where they're like, wait, that's it? That's $1 million? It's like, yeah, it doesn't look as big as you think it would. Maybe they're just doing that for a bit. Well, Alistair Googles, we're going to continue on their story here. Make sure you keep us posted. So it's at this point in the story that the mafia really starts to take notice of Kuklinski, and he's basically offered an audition, as it were, for a made man in the Gambino crime family, one of the most notorious 5 families of La Cosa Nostra in New York City. Roy DeMeo, a particularly violent member of La Cosa Nostra, earned his stripes in the Gambinos by being a notorious button man. He's basically he's a hitman. He knew how to take a fella out. The thing about mafia killings, they're bureaucratical. It's business. A lot of times a contract, they'll get approved by the leaders of the 5 families known as the commission, and that contract will get handed down to a certain family member of a respective family. And from there, it really doesn't matter how it happens. It's just like it's on that certain whoever's been charged with it. And so a lot of times the contract will then go out to another member, sometimes over and over until the thing is like so far removed from who originally wanted the guy dead. You need like a whole Charlie Day web of conspiracy sheet to like shake out how this whole thing fucking connects. This guy hires this guy, knows this guy who works with the guy, blah, 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 blah. So a lot of times these contracts throughout the 5 families in New York would land on DeMeo's doorstep because he was basically running like a mob shop. Like he had a whole little outfit of button men, and he, one way or another, got word that Kuklinski was good at killing people, and basically just kind of offers him an audition. He's got like a whole chop shop there. If Kuklinski was looking to go from like the little league of murder to the majors, DeMeo was going to be like his best shot at it. I'm going to cue up a clip here of Kuklinski describing his meeting with DeMeo in person, but thoughts while I do that.
Remember how last time we talked about how criminals always escalate? This is just an example of escalation. As his career as a murderer, he moved on to the corporate level of killing, which is associating himself with the mafia.
Yeah.
Completely random. Look, yes, $1 million in a $100 bill fits exactly a suitcase. Yeah.
Boom.
Damn it. Look, can you see it? It fits exactly a suitcase.
Yeah.
All right.
Beefy's right again. When is he not?
By the age of 25, Richard Kuklinski had no problem with murder. But now he wanted to get paid for it. There was money in contract killing.
Bubba.
To prove himself, he auditioned for Mafia capo Roy DeMeo.
Johnny
He
Cash.
said, "Well, I
Yeah,
would
he does look
expect
like
you
Johnny
to,
Cash.
if you came with me, I'd expect you to. If I told you to whack somebody, you'd whack them without any question." So I said, "Well, I could probably do that." He says, "You probably could do it, or could you do it? Do you think you could do it?" And I said, "Yeah, I think I could do it." So he told Freddie to get the car. Got the car. He and I got in the back seat. Freddie was driving. We drove someplace. I don't know where it was. It was someplace in New York. And we were sitting there for a while. We got to where we were going. We were sitting there for a while, and a man came in the distance. He was walking his dog, it looked like. So he said, "All right, take this guy down." I said, which guy are we talking about here?" So he says, "The man walking the dog." So I got out of the car and I started walking towards the man. The man was walking his dog just like a regular guy. As he passed me, I turned around and shot him. Freddie and Roy pulled up in the car. I got in the car and we drove away. And that is how I got involved with Roy, with doing things like that.
So here you go. Yep. Kind of a interesting rise to power, as it were.
Yeah, it's again, it's one of those things where there's nothing that guy walking the dog could have done. You know, wrong place, wrong time. It was just meant to be for him to die. Damn it! Really, crazy's walking among us. There's nothing we can do, really.
Yeah.
What do you think, Spooky?
I don't really know what to. I just have so many thoughts on him. You know, just he's an interesting guy. I'll just leave.
Yeah, he's even uncomfortable to even like if a guy like that sat in front of me, I'd be like, okay, well, time to leave. It's just his aura about him is already annoyingly uncomfortable, you know?
He's very smug.
Very smug. And it's like, oh, it's an aura of someone who has nothing to lose and doesn't care. Yeah, actually he said that. He doesn't view us as anything but me.
I think we're getting kind of a portrayal of a character here a little bit in this interview. Like at this point, he's been in jail for a while. He's very much got like a tough front. Like this is not the same Richard Kuklinski that we would have gotten right going into jail. Like right as he was arrested, he was probably a lot more tight-lipped. Hence the reason he didn't do interviews. You know, we'll get into some of his bolstering claims and like his exaggerations, but I think it serves him well at this point in his life to perpetuate this narrative that he's this big, bad, unstoppable hitman. And he's playing up to that character a little bit.
He also did it to provide for his family some other way because he was actually paid for the interviews that he did. So
interesting.
That was actually like, because obviously he can't do what he was doing before. So that was another way that he was trying to help his family out from even being behind bars. So
you're so funny. I gotta make a living. Shall I talk to you? Do you know how much he was being paid?
No, I don't know if it was ever like disclosed, but I think it was, I mean, a pretty decent amount.
Yeah,
probably six figures.
Do you know how much he was getting paid for doing the murders?
He says 6 figures, typically the higher end of that.
Per murders?
At least when he's in the mafia, yeah. I mean, we know that he's killing people for between $20,000 to $100,000 before he gets into the mafia. So he has a certain expectation of what he's going to make.
He's rich.
Yeah. Well, you got to think he's probably not doing more than like 2, 3 of these a year, at least not before he goes into the mafia, anyways.
Free money, okay? He's really rich. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, so he didn't think about retiring? So he really enjoyed it. Forget that. He could have done it for free. I would have been all right. 500,000. I think it's time for retirement. No, he was like, no, let's keep going. Who else I want to kill? Wow.
So yeah, bing bang boom, Kuklinski is straightened out. You know, he's bought a suit, he's taken out, he's whining and dining, he's bumping elbows with wise guys, but more importantly, he's killing. You know, he's killing for the mafia, and he's really good at it.
Mm-hmm.
So he ends up climbing the ranks to basically becoming DeMeo's #1 hitman. And it's here that Kuklinski would meet an interesting character with whom he would share somewhat of a kindred spirit with.
Oh God.
Robert Prange, a fellow hitman who ran his murder business out of a Mr. Softy ice cream truck. Alistair, you're covering your face. This is my first question to you. New Jersey-based man, have you eaten a Mr. Softy ice cream? Does this truck look familiar to you?
Not at all. Oh, yes! Yes!
I knew it! Awesome.
Please don't tell me that that's his franchise, The Murderers. Please don't tell. Really?
So no, better known as the ice cream truck killer, Robert Prange him and Kuklinski became fast friends. You know, they're pounded up. They're murdering and laughing. You know, F is for friends who do stuff together. C is for cyanide. They become like
cyanide in the ice cream. Oh my God!
So this guy is the one who he basically mentors Kuklinski. He teaches him how to use cyanide, and that freezing a body can really muck up a timeline to the assumed time of death. I mean, these two become really like thick as thieves, or murderers, as there would be. Kuklinski pretty much directly credits Prange as the one who basically taught him how to murder, at least big time for the mafia.
So he was murdering children, the ice cream guy?
No,
They're dads.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I don't know that much about Prange.
He would use his ice cream truck as like an undercover kind of thing, so that he could like find where his people are that he was supposed to take out. So he's like kind of selling ice cream to these kids and then killing their dads.
Oh my God! Okay, so I'm never gonna have ice cream ever again. I know this ice cream company. Like I this is not news to me. I
knew it. As soon as I saw Mr. Softy based in New Jersey, I was like, I guarantee you,
it's based in Jersey. I know I've seen it a very long time ago. Please don't tell me they had come out a statement saying we don't know who this murderer is. It's not us, right?
Well,
please tell me
this. More contracts too. It wasn't just a random like Israel Keys kind of guy. It was like an actual like it was business.
So it's funny you say that, Alistair, because we have a very special treat for y'all tonight, both literally and figuratively. I was able to track down a witness who apparently worked hand in hand with Robert Prange. So I'm going to go get him. I'm going to be right back. You guys just like talk amongst yourselves, and I'm going to get this guy, and he'll be in. Okay, so I'll be right back. Hopefully the stream doesn't shut down. Okay.
That would be bad.
Are we still here?
I'm still here.
Okay, good. Who is he going to bring out? Oh my God! Can you imagine if he pops out the son, or the grandson, the great-great-grandson? What if he pops out the actual mafia boss? Can you imagine? Beefy, who is he going to come out?
He's got Don on the other line that was calling the shots.
Wow.
I mean, that's a pretty cool cover, though, if you think about it. Like, to just
it's a great cover. Around.
Yeah.
It's unassuming. It would drag everybody out to the yard. If I hear the you're like, okay, I'm sure it's not the killer. I'll go outside. Wow. And then cyanide in the ice cream. Genius. Do you want some ice cream? I mean, I work out, but sure, I'll take a few bites. What? That is...
Hey, what are you doing? What do you know? What do you say? What do you see? Yeah. How you doing? You have to forgive my voice. I gotta remain anonymous. I'm in with nice cream protection. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, allow me to get straight to the point. I'm on fire here. Hey.
Why are you like Santa Claus, Mr. Ice Cream?
I don't know who Santa Claus is. I'll tell you, man. Me and Santa Claus, we went way back. I took care of that guy, straightened him out. He came up a little half-baked, put it that way.
Okay. All right. I like your
So
eyebrow.
yeah, you got some questions about that prawn gay guy? I worked with him. Yeah, he was a softie, I'll tell you what.
Like softy, like your ice creams.
You could say his bowl was a few nuts short of a
Oh,
sundae,
really?
if you know what I'm
What kind of
saying.
nut? Walnut or gummy bear nut?
His banana was already split. Oh. You know those little chocolate fishes that come
You
in fish
so
food in the
stupid. I
Ben &
love it.
Jerry's pints?
All right.
Yeah. He
Nice
switched
cone.
with them. I made his ice cream float, if you know what I'm saying.
100%, sir. Now, why cyanide? Did you crush some apple seeds?
It goes good on ice cream. It's
Where'd you
like
get the cyanide
sprinkles.
from? It's hard to get cyanide, sir. Where'd you get it from?
So he got the cyanide. I was really more of the fall guy. I took the shots on the face.
Oh,
You
wow.
know, I screamed. He screamed. We all screamed. I mean,
Yay!
they screamed a little more than we did. But yeah, if I'm honest, everybody was screaming. It was a nightmare. He was a real smooth criminal, if you know what I'm saying. Oh.
Now, Mr. Jimmy Two Scoops, why'd you have like two scoops in your name but only see one scoop? Where's your twin brother?
Yeah, so I had 2 scoops, but the heat of the wall coming up on me, I melt over time. I mean, hey, you ain't looking like you're exactly 2 shoots of an ice cream scoop here short over here, Mr. Big Postman guy, giving me the works. You don't nobody tells Jimmy Scoops what to
Shut
do.
up.
Oh,
By the way, why is your flavor strawberry? It's, you know, I like vanilla.
Looks like
strawberry
it's
is
flavor of
delicious.
murder.
Okay,
There's no
okay, I have a
joke
question
there.
for you then.
It's
Listen,
just good.
okay, listen, Jimmy. All right, so you get the cyanide and you poison all these children's fathers, and then what did you do? What did you do with the bodies? Where did it go? You know, that's a lot of bodies to hide.
Well,
Then what?
let's put it this way.
Big
I
enough.
drove the ice cream truck home. I got the vanilla. The bodies got rocky road. Oh.
Wow, and then what happened? And so what did Mr. Kuklinski do then? You just watch you put bodies in the freezer and then
Oh yeah, we did some other stuff. We committed some good Baskin robberies. I couldn't get him to quit. He wouldn't go cold turkey hill. One time we hooked up this guy. We hooked up his nipples to a car battery, and we served him some chocolate. Know what I'm saying? How are these ice cream pun lands? Are these landing? I'm trying to get a read for the room.
I mean, no, the actual joke landing. Okay. Now, when you hooked them up by the nipples,
Sorry. What?
How dare you be story staying character? You're a murderer. You're not sorry. You're happy you got caught. So, give me 2 scoops. What happened? Like, how do you die?
Well, I got a little insecure after a while. Some could say I had somewhat of a Napoleon complex, something like that. Some would say it was kind of minty, like the ice was melting.
Oh no! Oh, so did you just drive the car
Andre,
away?
he really could have learned to share and stop hogging the ice cream, if that makes sense.
Well, maybe if you had more flavors, it'd be better.
There's like 31 foot. I'm look, okay. Well, we can look at the time. I gotta go. So, it's been great talking to y'all. That prawn gray guy, Mr. Softy.
All right.
He's 2 scoops short of a sundae. Yeah, I'm pretty fresh out of these ice cream puns. So, have a good show, y'all, and yeah, we'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye, Mr. Jimmy Two Scoops. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe.
Stay safe. Don't drive too much. What was that? Oh, God.
He had an absolute blast with that.
Wow. I did not expect that. Wow. He always goes above and beyond.
Great.
That's a lot of work. What? Okay, go. Listen, Jimmy Two Scoop only had one scoop. Now, what's the scoop? Scoop spooky.
Maybe we shouldn't ask questions.
Maybe we should, unless you want to be frozen by your nipples. Yeah, we shouldn't ask. I was like, ow, hang them by the nipples. It's like, really? I mean, how many buddies can you stick in that fridge, in that freezer? It's so
Yeah,
funny.
really.
And then he's like, Mr. Kuklinski was just watching me with his little small banana. I was like, oh, okay, Beefy, all right. I can't wait till he gets back in here. Beefy, explain yourself.
So weird. I walked down the hallway
Yeah,
to get my friend, and he was
yeah.
just, what happened?
I don't know. We were just smacked in the face with Mr. Jimmy Two Scoop. We only have one scoop. What was
Oh, so
that?
you met Jimmy.
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I went to go get him and I couldn't find him, and we have a whole thing backstage. He's like my new roommate and stuff. He hangs out in the freezer, and he just I went to go get him and he was gone. It was just kind of strange.
Yeah. So Beefy, your roommate is a murderer?
Jimmy Two Scoops?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's something. I'll tell you.
How is it like to be roommate with a murderer?
He's all right. You know what I mean? Jimmy Two Scoops. He's not that bad. Once you get past all the ice cream puns, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
He makes a mean set of pancakes on a Sunday morning.
How big is his freezer?
He's just a regular ice cream man. You're making too much of this. Yeah, just a sentient, very mean ice cream man who every once in a while tries to murder me, but beside that makes really good pancakes and pays rent on time.
Oh, that's the kicker.
I can't breathe. Okay, control yourself. What? That's really funny, by the way. That's really funny. Like you're like, it's just don't make a big deal out of it. No, don't make a big deal out of it. Of course, it's really funny and shocking. I'm making a big deal out of it. This is great. Yeah, good job, Beefy. And what's his name again? Jimmy Two Scoop.
Jimmy Two Scoops. Yeah.
Yeah.
I lost all my stuff, so I got to get reset up here. Continuing on with our story, though. Prange would ultimately be discovered, shot several times in the head in his Mr. Softy truck in 1984, just a couple years after Kuklinski gets welcomed into this house of horrors, as it were, of Roy DeMeo.
Oh, wait a minute. So Jimmy Two Scoop was shot in the head?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, look at that. I bet you that's his best friend.
That's where one of those scoops went.
That's right.
Yeah, did he not explain? He used to have two scoops, but one of his scoops got shot off. I thought that was clear. It's in the lore.
I missed that.
I'll have to write down Jimmy Two Scoops' backstory for you, and I'll send it via email to the cast here.
I was into the lore. I was into the story. But wow, that's really funny. Look at that. His best friend's got him. Okay, continue.
Kuklinski ends up confessing to this murder of Prange, claiming that he threatened his family. Who knows if that's true? He would end up confessing to the murder of his boss, Roy DeMeo, also, but there are like several witnesses to say otherwise. Like I said, Kuklinski at this point in his life, he has kind of a history of bolstering his reputation by taking credit for famous hits we know he had nothing to do with. He actually goes on to say he killed Carmine Giamante, which is like basically the most famous mafia execution ever. Like we know this was Lucky Luciano in service of creating the Five Families. Kuklinski had nothing to do with this.
1 second. So I know we have bodies here, but I'm distracted. Is this in New York? In Jersey,
Yes.
sorry?
Oh, shucks. I believe this is New York.
New York. Is that a courtyard?
Yeah. Do you know this restaurant? I know it's very famous.
That's what I mean. It's bringing in I think my brain is itching. I think I've been there. What's the name of the place?
Oh, shucks. I don't remember. We're not covering Luciano, but I know it's very well known for this attack. Like it's still there today, along with the next one we're about to attack. There are mafia landscapes or milestones. What's the word I'm looking for?
Is it the
landmarks. Mafia landmarks.
Okay. Well,
very similar to the murder of Paul Castellano, who got shot outside a restaurant. It's same thing. He walks outside the restaurant, and like 5 hitmen came up and shot him to death, and that restaurant is known as being the place Paul Castellano got died. But again, we know based on everything that shakes out that it was John Gotti, the guy in the right, and Sammy the Bull Gravano. I mean, it's the breakdown for the John Gotti story was his rise to power and ultimate fall was the murder of Paul Castellano. So Kuklinski saying he had something to do with that, we know that's false.
Yeah.
The biggest one, though, is this guy. He claims he killed Jimmy Hoffa.
They just want fame at this point, right?
Yeah, like he's just like, come on, man. Like Jimmy Hoffa. In a 2001 interview, Secrets of a Mafia Hitman, Kuklinski claims at first he knew who killed Hoffa, but didn't have any personal involvement. He later then changes the story, saying he personally executed the hit, saying he was part of a 4-man kidnap team that grabbed Hoffa in Detroit, stabbed him several times in a car, placed his body in a 55-gallon drum, set it on fire, and dumped it in a junkyard.
Oh, wow.
He lying. So yeah, suffice it to say, Kuklinski at the very least may be embellishing a little bit at this point in the story in regards to his actual body count. Dominic Polifrone, an undercover detective who worked hand in hand with Kuklinski for months, said, quote, "I don't believe he killed 200 people. I don't believe he even killed 100 people. I'll go as high as 15, maybe." Polifrone, who would ultimately be the undoing of the Iceman, posing as a fellow mafioso, Polifrone spent 18 months infiltrating Kuklinski's operation as part of a joint task force titled Operation Iceman, in close conjunction with the Organized Crime Division of New Jersey's Attorney General Office. We are going to hear from said Polifrone and his taking down of the Iceman.
Okay.
Thoughts thus far while I'd see up this clip.
Let's go.
Thoughts thus far.
Go ahead, Spooky.
Oh, I was just going to say, the restaurant or diner that picture that you were asking about was Sparks.
Oh, you looked it up.
Steakhouse.
That's it. Thank you.
Which one?
Sparks Steakhouse.
Yeah, I think we've eaten there.
Very famous.
Yeah, okay. Look
Not
at
famous enough for me to remember it, but very famous nonetheless. All right, let's hear from Polifrone about his arrest of Kuklinski.
Which at the time was nothing more than a compilation of several different unsolved homicides. The more you looked for connections, the less you found in this particular case, because there was different types of murders, different devices used. The final method that was used was, in fact, the introduction of a undercover federal agent, Dominic Polifrone, who was able to win Mr. Kuklinski's confidence and was able to record conversations where he detailed his participation in these murders.
I portrayed myself as a hitman. I told him I worked for the wise guys downtown New York, and my brother was a good fella downtown, and I went by the name of Dominic Michael Provenzano.
You willing to go out on a contract? If the price is right, I'll talk to anybody. Yeah? Sure. And you mean to tell me your way is nice and clean and nothing fucking shows up? Well, it may show, my friend, but it's quiet. It's not messy. It's not noisy. It's not, Yeah, but how the fuck do you put it together? Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, there's always a way. There's a will, there's a way, my friend.
We used to sit down, we talk. Either we'd go to those tables over there and get away from people, and we discuss how to murder people.
Ooh.
I just have a few problems I want to dispose of. I have some rats I want to get rid of. Yeah. The only fucking thing I don't understand, don't you use a fucking piece of iron to get rid of these fucking people? Use this fucking cyanide? Why be messy? You do it nice and calm.
It became apparent at later points in the investigation that Mr. Kuklinski fully intended on murdering Dominic Polifrone, in addition to the victims that were being discussed at the time they were having these tape-recorded conversations. So he could pretty much tell Dominic Polifrone anything, because he knew shortly that
he was going to kill him.
He had plans for Mr. Polifrone.
Yeah.
You put that stuff in a mist, you spray it in somebody's face, and they go to sleep. No shit. As long as he's dead, that's the bottom line. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? No matter how it was done. I mean, I know guys that went to sleep and never woke up again. I mean, you know.
He says he had one guy, he went and get a hamburger, they come back and he put the cyanide on his hamburger.
Deppner.
And we're sitting down, and he's telling me, he says, you wouldn't believe it. He says, I'm waiting for this guy to keel over. He says, because once you eat cyanide, usually you'd roll over, and that's it. He says, this guy had the constitution of a fucking bull. He says, you wouldn't believe it.
This guy
He says,
plays
"You
a good
wouldn't
wise
die."
guy.
We're both
The
laughing about it.
constitution
I'm
of
saying
a
in the back of my
fucking
mind, I said,
bull.
holy God. I said, look at this.
Look
I
at
said, what
this
kind of
fucking
person
guy.
is this?
What kind of person is this?
I said to myself right there, I said,
Hey, come on.
you better
capiche?
cover your butt. I said, because you just don't know with this guy. And he'd be kidding about it, and I'd be laughing in the back of my mind. I'm saying, this is the devil. No question about it. This is the devil.
There you have it.
You know, that's crazy how in the mind of Kuklinski, yeah, you were dead no matter what. Yeah, I guess he's deadlier than Keys. Yeah, no matter
In
what.
some ways, I think what they're saying there is that was the reason he was able to trust him, was because he was dead no matter what. Yeah.
So I could tell you what I want. I know you're gonna die anyway. Oh, God, that's quite disturbing.
Yeah.
Aren't they all disturbing? What am I saying that's new? Nothing. Yeah. But
Well,
what do you think?
he would ultimately be sentenced to 60 years and joined and jailed on the conviction of 5 murders: Hoffman, Smith, Deppner, Mazgay, and Malibran, the 5 we talked about earlier. Those are the victims we know for sure Kuklinski had a direct role in their murder. His wife would perplexingly stand by him for most of his trial in the coming years of sentences, telling media and reporters he was a good family man who kept his life of crime a secret from his family life. But as we said, let's face it, she basically knew he was up to something, and she knew it.
And to be honest, if I was her, I'd be like, okay, 5 for 5. Yeah, he's never gonna come out. Okay, I'll go along with it just to make sure I don't get offed some way. And I'd be like, I love him so much, just a great father, knowing that he's gonna be gone
forever.
Yeah, you know what? I'm with the wife, girl. You did a good job.
Yeah, get yours.
Yes, agree until he's gone, and then you're like, oh, thank God.
Fucking monster. That fucking monster. I'm looking at the fucking devil here.
I would never know. Yeah, right.
A note about that, their conversation too. He really got into cyanide. I didn't get to cover it in some of these cases, but there are he talks about examples where he pretends to sneeze in people's faces and will just he'll get a couple sprays on people's clothes and it'll suck in through the skin, and then a few days later they're dead. Terrifying. Cyanide's scary as fuck.
Yeah, and cyanide, it's painful. It's not like it's a sweet.
Yeah, it's a very painful death. You're right.
But I'm surprised people die from small contact, because you need a lethal dose, because your body can process a certain amount.
Yeah, they say that the difference between medicine and poison is all in the dose.
It's all in the dose, yeah. And everybody has a different tolerance. So I wonder if the guy who ate the burger must have had a much higher tolerance than most.
He was a fucking bull.
A fucking bull.
Yeah, like a bull.
This fucking guy, he was a fucking bull. He ate 6 of them White Castle sliders. 6 of the cyanide White Castle sliders with some cyanide cherry Coke. And he fucking was still playing cards. He went and did a jog around the back. It was fucking crazy. Beast.
Nope. Yeah.
Let's get Jimmy 2 scoops out here. I'm doing more bits for you, y'all.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That's funny. No, that's really funny. If anything, I'd be like, let's study this guy. How the hell did he survive this dosage? Maybe he was a mutant. X-Man. Okay, that was corny. Fine.
Yeah, well, there you have it. Kuklinski would state that the only thing he was ever sorry for was the harm he caused his family. And again, he would state until his dying day that was really his only pleasure in life. It was the only thing that he sought existence in, was being a father. His end all be all in all of this is that he had no choice. From the day he was born, he was beaten by his father and then enlisted to become a murderer. I don't think that's true. I think once he got involved with the mafia, once he got involved with the mafia, I'll give him a little bit of a okay, there's no walking out of there. But you willingly got in bed with them. You were fucking stoked to hear that Road to Mayo was knocking at your door. You weren't exactly
Yeah.
you know, an upstanding member of society when the mafia came calling. You were the exact person they were looking for.
There's something to be said when you commit something heinous, you get away with it. It becomes such a norm that yeah, killing became so normal. And let me give you a scenario. So I have a friend who dropped out of college, and he's doing fine now. But I remember the reason why he dropped was this family was running out of money. Simple as that, and he didn't want to go to student loan and stuff like that. And at first, it was a very traumatic situation, and you know, I was there to create comfort and stuff like that. But after a while, something traumatic became a comfortable thing and didn't become serious anymore. And so at the beginning, it's like, oh my God, I just killed someone. And then it's like, oh, I got away with it. Oh well, no. All right, look, I killed somebody else. Oh, it like the trauma becomes a norm. And you can even see like he's like talking to that undercover cop, being like, oh, I'm gonna kill you because it's just normal. That's what I do. Right?
Bye, Carol. Have a good night. Sorry, Carol's saying goodbye in the chat. Good night, hon. We're almost done. We're wrapping up. Probably got left 15 minutes or so. But bye. Have a good night.
Bye. By the way, Carol, wait. Really quickly, you know, I have a client named Carol Austin, and I don't know if I mentioned that to you. I was like, Carol, is that you? Carol, please don't judge me so hard. You don't know what, like, you know, but you were like, no, I don't know. I don't live in the United States. But when I first saw your name, I was like, oh crap, Carol Austin is here. Oopsies. I don't know if you remember. She's probably gone. Anyway, that's it.
All right. Anyways, so yeah, he would claim that the arrests and the you know, the effect it had in his family would be his biggest blight. And I just want to give Kuklinski the last word here in relation to his, because I feel like it's important that we get his stance on the whole thing and his last 2 cents on this. So this is what he had to say about the murders and the role they had to play on him and his family.
I've never felt sorry for anything I've done other than hurting my family. The only thing I feel sorry for. I'm not looking for forgiveness, and I'm not repenting. No, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I do want my family to forgive me. Oh boy. I'm gonna make this one. Oh shit. This would never be me. This would not be me. I feel for my family. You see the Iceman crying. Not very macho. But I've hurt people that mean everything to me. But the only people that mean anything to me.
Wow. You see why I put a little bit of stock into what he's saying there. That I think, based on your body language, I think I know where you're going with this, Alistair. I think that was genuine. That cadence and the lip quivering, that's a really hard thing to fake. And I think that a certain part of him, like you even kind of see where he takes a moment and realizes like, fuck, everybody's going to see this. Everybody's going to see me crying about my family. And he's like, he's calculating the consequences of that and almost like weighing, well, it's more important to me that my family sees that I'm affected by this than it is my status in prison. You know what I mean? Like he's almost calculating that equation in his head of where his priorities are. That's what I took out of that. And for me, it says he, at the very least, was genuine in that he really did like care about his family, and he really did love them. It wasn't just a prop. That's my opinion.
Spooky, what do you think?
Yeah, they were a prop.
Spooky. No.
Now he's sad he got caught, and he wanted to continue his, split double life, and it's
well, yeah. I mean, both things can be true, though, right? Like he can have a family and care about them, and also wish he hadn't got caught.
No, I disagree. So, I mean, let me tell you something. I mean, let me share what I think, right? So you're right. The stress response and the cadence and the lip situation is very difficult to fake. So for sure, there was a cortisol response. So he was going through stress. Now, the source of that stress, based on what he's talking about, is his family, right? Because that's what he brings up. That's the topic. But he said at the very beginning, I'm not apologizing for nothing, and I don't feel sorry for nothing. That's what he just said. Maybe that was the image. And then he went on with the cadence and the lip sucking, all that stuff. And then he focused so much on what his family may have perceived. What does that tell me? That tells me it has everything to do with the image, right? It's more so the family image of him that he's very disappointed that they get to see his real him, because throughout his entire family man career, his kids, maybe his wife had an idea, but he made very sure to hide that, not because he didn't enjoy killing, but because he loved killing so much and he wanted to create a facade. And to narcissists, a facade is everything to them. It's the way to control the story. So I do believe, conclusion, that there is a little bit of that young boy that back in the day that was abused by his father that is still yearning for some connection, some closure. But that little boy, as little as it is at that point, is too muffled by the grown-up that he's been, because the grown-up that he's been is a monster, and he knows he's a monster. He loves being a monster. In order to be an efficient monster, he must have an adequate image. And that image was shattered, because forever, his image now will never be able to be controlled, because now they all see him for who he is. Look at us talking now about him of a monster he is, and he knows that, and that's why he's crying, damn it, I failed. Yeah. Please.
Yeah, seen as like indestructible, like this larger than life, like you like almost like superhuman to them, like because they were like, oh my god, it's Big Bad Dad, or good Richie and bad Richie, and then he controlled the narrative of like, I'm going out, okay, don't worry about what I'm doing, and now it's like, oh, so you were going out doing this, and it's like the whole.
So doesn't that argument lend itself more to what I'm saying, that the family wasn't a prop?
No, the family was a prop.
It was a prop because it was an image he wanted you to see. He wanted them to see.
So if it wasn't,
but if the family is just a prop to him, what does he care what they think?
So I think it's a great question, and I think that is a conundrum a lot of time with narcissists, is that they have a level of insecurity that other people's opinion matters. I'll tell you another reason why, and I'm going to point out another example. When he was 18 years old, that guy that resembled him like his father, heckled and make fun of me, which was a trigger, right? And he couldn't take that opinion of that person who reminded him of his dad. Therefore, he needed to take action because he made fun of him in public. So his image that he had in his mind at 18 was exposed to another version in front of everybody, and that person couldn't survive. That person couldn't live. That person had to die.
Right.
I mean,
his family was a prop, and they were also people he was lying to as well. Yeah. So, like, they had this like double.
And a double life.
And so they not only were no longer of use for him to like, oh, I'm the perfect family man, but now they also knew the truth.
Yeah.
So it matters to him that they know that now. So like because he's been exposed as a liar to them essentially too.
Yeah. Oh God, not to sound so Debbie Downer, but yeah, he reminds me of my dad too. Yeah, I know. Don't they all? Don't they all? No,
Yeah,
listen.
it all comes back to childhood.
All comes back to childhood.
Well, let us know in the chat what you guys think, and for anybody in the replay crew, we want to know your thoughts as well. What do you guys think? Are his family just props? Did he really care about them? Does basically that we're asking the question? Does he have a soul? You know, is really what this crux is coming down to.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Props.
Yeah, props. Hello, wife.
Did you see his outfit in any of those interviews? I don't know if that was something that I don't know how close in that all of the interview things were, but he definitely was in like this.
Some of them he's in.
Yeah, I know. He was. I noticed. He's like, yo, don't
that
play with
sweater was like 1980s Sears catalog.
Yeah, very like macho. He even mentioned the word macho. Like, I'm hetero, homie.
Hetero, homie. Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
like
bro.
a Chad.
I like women. Yeah.
Well, listen. We only have about 10 minutes left. Spooky. I like to, whenever we have a guest on, kind of talk about stuff they have going on. You have a YouTube channel. So I want to play a little game. I got a little bit here we're going to play as we walk out of here. It's a bit I like to call...
God, random questions!
God.
This is really easy. I'm just going to ask you 5 random...
I love it.
I'm just going to ask you 5 random questions and tell us what you think.
All right,
Question
I can do.
Question 1. What is the largest animal you think you could beat in a fist fight?
Oh my God.
The large. Oh my God.
Bring it, Spooky, because I'm curious. Which one?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, oh God, it have to be a really big bird.
Birds? Dude, birds can throw down. They get pecky. They have claws. I wouldn't want to go one-on-one with any bird. Unless it's a very small bird I can just, like, kick.
I don't know. I would say probably a big dog then. Like, I could probably take one of those. If
Oh my God!
Spot.
That's a horrifying answer. So of all the animals in the kingdom you're going to pick to fight a dog?
Yeah, because they only have their mouth.
The bird is any better?
Jesus Christ. Yes, like birds are basically like a couple steps removed from demonkin. Like birds are scary as fuck, bro. Their bones are hollow. How are they flying? Like their very existence challenges our reality. Dogs are man's best friend. Like if I'm thinking about an animal I want to fist fight, dog is at the bottom of that list.
I just thought that would be the best one because they only have the one weapon. That's their mouth. They're not going to punch you.
Oh, that's right.
Good God.
Yeah.
Well,
so I just gotta smack that face out of my way.
Nope.
This is taking a turn.
You're so stupid. I love it.
What is that? The girl fight thing where they do that? That's great.
Fuck. All right. All right.
Question 2.
Yep. Yeah, go.
You walk up to a tray of fresh brownies that are neatly cut into 2x2 squares. Are you taking a center brownie or are you taking a corner brownie?
Oh, please, corner.
Corner.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, the corner is crispy, crunchy, a little hard, a little more extra particles, so I get a little bit more.
So it's funny you say that because I got this question posed to me when I was in rehab, and I said the same thing. I said, I take the corner because you get like a little bit of that crunchy, gooey center, and then you get the crust on the side. And they were like mortified. I might as well have said like the sky was green. And they were like, what? You take a center brownie because it's all gooey. And I was like, okay, man, you do you. And they would not, they like demonized me for my rest of that day. They're like, oh, here comes fucking corner cuts over here. Fucking corner cut brownie, dude.
I'm like,
fucking
more for
Satan,
me.
Satan embodified.
Like, y'all are the heathen.
Thank you, fucking Acrobat. Team Corner for the win. Okay, well, I'm glad we're like-minded on this thing, because there was a right answer in my... Oh, yeah, Jonesy? Okay. Well, you can take your fucking center brownies and just, like, whatever.
Center all the way.
Okay, question 3. This is a layup. What's the last song you listened to?
Oh.
What is the last song I listened to? I think it was the Humpty Hump.
What? Why?
I like it.
Wait, this was on purpose? You purposely listened to Humpty Hump?
Oh, I listen to it all the time.
Oh my
Do the
God.
hump. Do the Humpty Hump. You put that on? Like, I'm going to jam on some Humpty Hump.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's a good song.
I'm not hating it. Okay. Fair enough.
Do the Humpty.
He gets it. My husband's like, this again?
This again.
Oh, so this is like a common occurrence? This is like a
all
go-to
the time,
track
yeah.
for you.
It is definitely on my playlist.
The Humpty Hump. Okay, yeah. It's a fair answer. Sometimes the easiest answers are the easiest answers because they're
Yes.
right.
Look, we're not making fun of you. The music I listen to is weird too. No, it's great. It's great.
Okay. I'm like, I don't care what I have everything on my little mixtape thing going.
Yeah.
It's like Humpty to Biggie to Avril Lavigne,
Avril, yeah.
Taylor Swift. Yeah, you. If I'm like, oh, I like that song, I'll just add it to the playlist and just throw it in there, and it'll come at some random time. It's great.
Okay, question number 4. No pulp or some pulp?
Some.
Yes. Me too, some.
That's the right answer. You got to get that extra meat in there. Get the extra nutrients.
The little extra clang, 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 clang.
So good. So good.
Fuck it out. So good.
If I get the clean no pulp juice, I feel like I'm drinking concentrate. It's like, oh, this might as well be, yeah.
Yeah, give me
It's
the
more,
illusion that it's
authentic if you
sweet.
have some pulp.
Okay. And finally, what's something you're thankful for?
Something I'm thankful for, having the ability to take care of my whole situation here, a job that pays well, and money to pay my bills and to take care of my babies, and a husband that's supportive and does the same thing, and same priorities, I guess. My life.
Nice. Good for you.
That is
sounds pleasant.
Amazing. That's good. I wish more people were thankful about that. No, it's true. It's true. Especially now, everybody's complaining about everything else. But I think it's great. It's like, I'm happy for what I have.
Yeah.
Bravo, Spooky. Bravo.
Yay.
I'm a good person. I'm a
quarter friends. Let us know in the chat. Let us know something you are thankful for. This has been a hell of a show. Spooky, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, I had a blast. I can't wait to watch back and see it.
Yeah, honestly, the watch back is something I have learned to enjoy, because it's like one thing to experience it and to be the moment of it, but like, I don't know, maybe it's like a narcissistic part of me, but sometimes I enjoy our show. Like, I go back and watch it and it's like, this is kind of fun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I had a good
But
time.
we're all a little bit narcissistic. It's just too much of it, then it's bad. But everybody, we're a little bit like, it's about me. I love that little new squirrel, though.
Thanks.
Look at you with your hands in your pocket.
And honestly, like what's the word? Self-image, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like your self-appearance. Yeah, like the way you appearance yourself, like the way your own opinion of yourself. There's a word for that. I can't think of it. But anyways,
self-validation.
Yeah, like having a low characterization of yourself is something I struggle with. So yes, having a low self-esteem. Thank you. I struggle with self-esteem, and if there's at least one facet I'm able to go back and watch and say, hey, I like myself on the podcast, at least I'm able to point to something and be like, hey, I like this version of myself. So,
well, Beefy, look, I think you're an amazing person, but my opinion doesn't really matter. But it's about yours. But I've told you many times, amazing.
You do.
Spooky clap, darling, clap. Perfect. Okay.
Well, listen, as we get ready to take this home, Alistair, can you give us our final thought?
The final thought.
Yes. So look, as we gather ourselves and pick up the pieces of our mental health, considering the fact that we talk about murderers all the time. Look, one thing is important to remember. Especially this year, you matter. That's it. Okay, look, before you like throw tomatoes, because I dodged them all, let me explain to you what I mean by that. this is an election year, and I'm not going there. So everybody hold your pearls very closely. But if you follow a little bit of the atmosphere, everybody's starting to get into a weird wave of depressiveness. I don't know if it's you, but I'm here to tell you that at the end of the day, you matter. So it doesn't matter. So pick yourself up and be glad and be happy. That's what I'm trying to say behind the scenes. Do you understand what I'm trying to say, Beefy?
I do.
I'm trying to say, Spooky.
I do.
The year didn't even start yet, and people are already literally doing backflips, front flip, cartwheels. I'm like, really? Everybody relax, calm down. It's okay. Regardless of what happens, it's okay. You know, like, you matter. You matter. And another thing also, and this isn't final thought, but another thing also is that there is this trend of loneliness that I've noticed, and I've talked about it a little bit to little kids that want to listen to me. And that plays into my whole factor of you matter because you know, yeah, we may not get exactly what we want in life, sure, and we all have a little bit of loneliness here and there, but understand everything about you is enough. That's it.
There you go.
Just be authentically you.
Yeah, it was a hard truth for me to realize that, like, even warts and all, that's just okay. Like, I can just exist. That's okay. That's fine.
Yes.
Somebody out there is gonna like it. You know what I mean? So I should too.
Yes. Someone's gonna like it. You don't have to please everybody. No, but I don't know really know if you Beefy, if you really follow us, like, it's starting to really going down the drain and going back to 2020, and I'm sitting there like, everybody calm the F down, read a book, disengage a little bit,
have a nap, get yourself a nice cuddle.
Yes, exactly. Go touch grass, you know, and it's starting to ramp up, and some people take it to the extreme, as in, like, you know, being in person and threatening people's life and safeties already. And I'm like, what makes you feel like you have to get up your house and go and do this kind of stuff? No, just you are enough.
Yeah, Acrobat, really. Yeah, 2020, also known as 1 century ago. Yeah, really. Doesn't it feel like it was fucking like 1,000,000 years ago?
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, all right, guys. This has been tons of fun. Everybody in the chat: Jonesy, Acrobat, Bubba, Alicia, Lucy,
Charlotte.
Bunny, Charlotte, yes, of course, Carol, all you guys. I hope you have a great week. Spooky, again, thank you so much for coming on. Alistair, buddy, you're a cherished friend. Hope you have a great week. And yes, please take us home.
Perfect. Thank you so much for watching. Press like and subscribe. If you're a replay crew, we like you too, okay? And have a good rest of the week. See you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
End transmission.
Thank you for watching.